This will be for the con exercise. Solve quadratic equations, complex solutions. All right, so a quadratic equation is an equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. All right, a, b, and c are the coefficients. A is going to be the one in front of x squared, b is going to be the one in front of x, and c is going to be the constant term with no x. So when the equation is in this form, and usually you use this formula when you can't factor, okay? But either way, when the equation is in this form and you have to set it equal to 0 first, you can use this formula to solve for x. Okay, so x is going to equal negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so this 4ac means 4 times a times c. This 2a, of course, means 2 times a. And it's going to be plus or minus. So there's often going to be two solutions. You have to do both plus and minus. All right, also you want to remember that the square root of negative 1 is just I. And you want to remember if you have two terms added or subtracted over a common denominator, each one of those terms is divided by that denominator. So a minus b over c equals a over c minus b over c. Each one of those is over c. Okay, and it works for addition as well. All right, so they want us to find the solutions of this quadratic equation, and they give us multiple choice answers. Okay, I might do this on separate paper. All right, so notice the equation that was given, it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, that's very important. It has to be equal to 0 first. If it's ever not equal to 0, just add or subtract from both sides until you get it equal to 0. All right, so we can clearly see that a is 14. We can see that b is negative 11. All right, make sure you maintain the plus minus signs. And c is positive 10. All right, so we are going to be using these in our quadratic formula. All right, we're solving for x. We said the formula is going to be negative b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. Hopefully I have enough room. So negative b is going to be the negative of negative 11. All right, since b is negative 11, but it's negative b, so it's the negative of negative 11, plus or minus the square root. B squared is going to be negative 11 squared minus 4 times a times c. Minus 4 times a, which is 14, times c, which is 10. All right, and that whole thing is divided by 2 times a, so it's 2 times 14. All right, let's see what we could do here. So the negative of negative 11, that's going to be positive 11. So let's get that out of the way first. All right, we have positive 11 plus or minus. And I am going to simplify everything under the square root. All right, negative 11 squared. You can do all this on the calculator. Negative 11 squared is 121. Minus 4 times 14, that's going to be 40. 56 times 10, that's going to be minus 560. All right. And this is going to be negative 460, negative 420, negative 419. All right, and that whole thing is divided by 2 times 14, which is 28. All right, small mistake, not negative 419. It's negative radical 439. All right, before I try to break this up, let me see if this is one of the answers. Okay, and there is a radical 439 in all 4 of the answers. Okay, so I know I don't have to break that up. All right, so I got lucky there. All right, so let's continue. Not much to do here, really. All right, let me see here. So negative 439, that's the same as radical 439 times the square root of negative 1. Okay, we know the square root of negative 1 is just I, so we can cancel that and just pull out an I. Okay, so the negative 439 is now positive. All right, so that's one step we can do. And in their answers, all of them were broken up. So remember, we said when you're adding or subtracting over a common denominator, each one of those is over the denominator. So we have 11 over 28. We have plus or minus, and we have radical 439 over 28. All right, and that's it right there. All right, on that last step, since we had the plus or minus in the numerator, I put each one of those over the 28, and I forgot the I. Okay, in case you don't see where the I came from, I can just do it real quick down here. Remember, we said the square root of negative 1 is I. So let's say you had the square root of a negative number. Let's say negative x. That's the same as the square root of x times the square root of negative 1. But we said the square root of negative 1 is just I. All right, so that would just be the same as I times radical x. So if you have a negative under the radical, you can make it positive and just pull out an I. Okay, so that's what I did right here. I had negative radical 439, and I just pulled out an I. Anyhow, that's it. 11 over 28 plus minus I radical 439 over 28. All right, and that is answer B. There you go, answer B. Uh-oh. All right, so I don't know what happened. I had it correct, but it was answer C. It was the I that was left out. I chose B, but it didn't have the I, so that was answer C. It was the same thing I had with the I in front of the square root. Okay, I got it back. Answer C. Notice B and C are the same with the exception of the I. Okay, I forgot the I part. I thought they would put the I in front of the square root. Apparently, they put it out front. So I had everything correct, but I forgot the I part. There you go. All right, find the solutions of this quadratic equation. Notice in their answers, all of the answers have a radical 239. Okay, so if I get radical 239, I know I don't have to break it up. All right, so it's a little bit of a hint to check the answers first. All right, so as always, we have a quadratic equation. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Make sure it equals 0. All right, so we can see once again, the A is negative 9. The B value is positive 11. And the C value is negative 10. All right, so we will be using those. And once again, the quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac. And that whole thing is divided by 2 times a. All right, so negative b, that's going to be negative, and b is 11. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's 11 squared. Okay, if it's positive, you don't really need parentheses, but it's a good practice. Minus 4 times a times c, so times negative 9 and times negative 10. And that whole thing is divided by 2 times a, so it's 2 times negative 9. All right, let's see what we could do here. Let's clean up the radical first. 11 squared is 121. 4 times 10 is 40. Times 9 is 360. Okay, but we have 3 negatives, so it's going to be negative 360. All right, negative times negative is positive, times negative is negative. So we have negative 11 plus or minus the square root. 360, 120, that's going to be 260, 240, 239. It's negative 239. And that whole thing is divided by 2 times negative 9. That's negative 18. Okay, recall the square root of a negative. You can change it to a positive and pull out an I. All right, and also recall each one of these is over the negative 18. So we have negative 11 over negative 18. Plus minus. And we have radical 239. Radical 239 over negative 18. And this time I will remember the I. Instead of putting it here, I'm just going to put it out front. Okay, if it's in the numerator or if it's out front, that's the same thing. So this should be the answer. Okay, the only thing I'm thinking of, they might make this positive because it's negative over negative. And really, they can get rid of this negative. Why? Because it's plus minus. See, 239 over negative 18, you could just move the minus sign there. And plus minus, minus minus, it's the same thing. You're either adding a negative or 2 negatives make it positive. So really, this is the same thing as positive. All right? If you think about it, if you have plus or minus 1, that's going to be positive 1 and negative 1, right? But if you have plus or minus negative 1, that's still going to be positive 1 and negative 1, okay? So you can just get rid of that negative. So that's what I did. And they'll probably get rid of this one too because it's negative over negative. 11 over 18 plus minus radical 239 over 18 times I. All right, let's see if we can find it. 11 over 18 plus minus radical 239 over 18 times I. All right, that's it right there. That's got to be it. Here they don't have the I. Here's the I, but they left this part negative, and here they don't have the I. All right, this was positive because it was negative over negative. Notice they flipped the plus minus and made it minus plus. It's the same thing, though. It's the same thing.